Hi, thanks for tuning in here today. Today we're going to be doing a nice little simple painting. I hope you can follow along with me. Let me have them run the colors across the screen that you'll need to paint along with me. While you're doing that, let me tell you what I got on my easel. I have my regular 16 by 20 inch canvas, pre-stretched, double primed, and I added a thin layer of the liquid white. Rather than that, it's slick, it's wet, and it's ready to go. Now, let's just get started with today's painting. I thought for today's painting, I wanted to do something that's such beginner friendly, but if it's your first painting, it will amaze everyone. So just going with my 1-inch brush through phthalo blue, and let's come up here and just go crisscross. It's okay if some spots are left with very little paint. That's why I'm using my 1-inch. Did on purpose. Just load up your brush and have fun with it. So just something like so. There. Now let me grab a clean, dry 2-inch, and all we're gonna do is just go crisscross and go back and forth, back and forth. You can even do up and down, but I prefer going side to side. That's just me. Now let's go ahead, let's add in some water. Let's add in some water for this painting today. So I'm gonna do a Bob Ross style painting where the water comes from the outside and you have that little centerpiece of highlight. So just try to remove as much brush strokes as I can, because as you know, water does not have brush strokes. That's the last thing it has. Pulling from the outside in and just leaving that little ridge in the center. There. Okay, and with that 2-inch brush, all I'm going to do is just go back and forth and really just push that paint into that canvas. Just really work it in. I think like that gives you a solid sky and a solid water. Now let's go ahead and let's just grab our palette knife and just think of a shape of a cloud. There. Just think of this as your pencil. You can always erase it, but it's there to guide you. Let's go ahead, let's grab a 1-inch brush. This is a natural bristle 1-inch. And just load it up. Let's come up here and just kind of tap and pull down. There we are. Just a nice little bright, soft cloud. Grab our 2-inch and just using the top corner, just going in circles, blending out that base. Lift upwards a bit and go across. Just like that, you have yourself a nice little cloud. Let me go ahead, let me grab a little bit of mountain mixture, cut a roll, and let's come up here. Let's decide. Maybe there's a distant mountain right around here. There. You can choose how big, how strong your mountain is. I'm just putting in a nice little simple one. Simple but looks interesting with the shape Now grab our 2-inch and just shoom, grab it and pull that paint. There. There we are. And it's that easy. That easy. Now, let me go ahead. Let me grab a pile of titanium white. Okay? And I'm going to grab my 1-inch. And I'm going to try to chisel this brush. I've never chiseled one of my natural bristle brushes. So it's a first. That's not chiseled, but let's see how it goes. All I'm going to do is just tap. Or, you know what? I did a mistake. I did not need the light to be coming from that side. If it comes from that side, then I think it changes everything. There. Just kind of tap in your highlight. There. Few little highlight spots right around there. There we are. Now let's go into a little bit of mountain mixture with that white. Doesn't really matter. And we're going to come up here and just tap. There. I'm going to start teaching mountains this way. I think it's a nice little fun way for different look and also for people beginners. There. Now, I'm going to grab my 2-inch and just very softly just kind of soften it. That way there's not too many harsh lines. There. Shoo. Now, let me grab a little bit of titanium white on my palette knife. You guys saw this on my last video where I grab a little bit and just decide where I want my highlight to go. And just right there. Okay. I have a hair on that palette knife. There we are. Okay. Now we can grab our 1-inch brush. I'm going to use a synthetic now. For me, synthetics are a bit more easier to control for this. And just knock it into place. There we are. Let's try that same approach, but with shadows. So we'll cut a roll, some mountain mixture. This is the spot where I really want it to sort of stand out. Maybe over here, maybe right there a bit. There. Maybe over here. This kind of gets lost too. And all I'm going to do is just knock it into place. Just blend it out. Shoo. Okay, so with that, we can grab our 2-inch brush and very, very easy. Just kind of grab it, follow those angles, and just soften that up a bit. Now, what I want to do is let's go ahead, let's grab a 1-inch brush. I'm gonna grab one of my synthetics. We'll grab some titanium white, load up my brush, chisel the brush. These brushes take less to chisel, and maybe there lives a cloud right over here. Now, it does kind of get polluted with that underneath color, so I'm gonna show you guys a trick. Cut a roll with your palette knife after you put your basic color in, and just go in circles. Okay, just like so. There we are. And just come up here and just blend it. Okay, now grab our 2-inch, knock everything together. Okay, and you can repeat the steps if you think some other spots need a little more brightness. Just make sure you blend it each and every time you do it. Okay, now I'm not gonna make that the main focus. We could spend so much time adding clouds and clouds and layer it in, but for today, that's as far as we're gonna get. Now let's go ahead, let's make a bigger and stronger mountain. There. There we are. Maybe this kind of just comes on down right there. Just blocking in a basic little shape. Make sure you scratch as much paint as you can off. You want as least paint as you can get on there. Shoop. There. There's a big mountain. There. Shoop. There. That's a pretty big mountain for me, myself. Usually I do them a little smaller. Those are my usual mountains. Let's go ahead back into our titanium white. Cut a roll. Let's see if I could do paint breaks today. It would be great if I could do some. They're alright. They're alright. Not too bad today. There's days where I feel like, oh, I struggle with paint breaks. There's days. But then there's also days that it's just comes natural. Now, the reason why is because I don't use Bob Ross canvas. I use any canvas people give me, or whichever cheap alternative I can get away with. As you know, painting can be expensive, so whenever I have the chance to find the cheap alternative, I'll do so. So, usually the cheap canvases aren't the best, making it harder for the paint to kind of grab on and do the things you want to accomplish. Even with the right paint and all that. Whew. Okay, we got a basic mountain going there. Let's go ahead, let's grab some of our mountain mixture with a little bit of light color. Push up and and it's marbled. So it looks a little nicer right there. There. Maybe over here you see a little bit more. There. It's the same concept, just you're doing it the opposite direction. Let's come up here and maybe just shoom. Let's just push that one back there and maybe shoom. There we are. Let's add a little darker color just to mess with it and make it stand out a bit. Okay. Just try and mix up a color to kind of match everything. Sure. A bit more black. Just the main thing here is have fun with it. Covered up our little mountain over here. Shoot. Gotta have a little bit there. And you could go back and just touch up little spots that matter to you. There we are. Now let's grab our 2-inch brush and let's just tap following that angle. I remember the first time I did a mountain I was proud of. Ooh, it hurt me so bad to just blend the base, knowing how much I struggled with it. There, just blend it out. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's let the painting begin now. Add a little bit of mountain mixture, a little bit of sap green. Just mix that up. Good pile of paint. Maybe a little touch of yellow in there. I'm gonna put apart a little bit with a little bit of white since it's in the distance. And let's go ahead, let's grab our 2-inch brush. Load that color up, full with that green color. Let's come up here and I don't worry about the shape of a foothill. I just go at it. So I would recommend just block it in. If you're gonna do reflections, block that in too. Make your life easier. There, and then towards the end, just lift up tiny little trees that just live out there. Let's go ahead into some darker color, and let's come up here and just, I always like putting in a little bit of land. There. There we are. And just little bit, little reflections. Shoo. Okay, let's add some grassy highlights. Same dirty brush, just load it up with some cadmium yellow and just shoo. There we are. And you can reflect a little bit of that green. Okay, now let me grab my great number 10 palette knife. A little bit of titanium white. Let's come up here and maybe no dirt today. And just cut in a few little water lines. Just scrub it as hard as you can. There. Few little ripples in there. Now, let's go ahead. Let's have some fun with this painting. I'm gonna grab my 1-inch brush and I'm gonna take it through mountain mixture. Make sure you chisel the brush, so wiggle through paint and pull it straight through. You'll get this nice sharp look. Let's come up here. We're gonna do little trees back here. Okay? And just shoom. Little indications of a few little trees that live back there. Shoot, they look really tiny, but if you're that close up, those trees would be huge. And if the mountain looks huge, imagine close up. Maybe there lives one right here. Let's make them the three amigos. There. That simple. Now load it through some cadmium yellow. And they gotta have a little bit of a highlight. There. Very lightly, no pressure. And just like that, you have yourselves a few little indications of a couple little bushes that live back there. Let me go ahead, let's get some dark color involved. And let's just have at it. I really love putting bushes, even though sometimes it annoys me. But I love having bushes. Because if done right, whew, it adds on. So maybe right there. There. Let me go ahead. Let me just wipe off a little bit of paint from my 1-inch. Let me take it through bright red. One direction. Let's come up here. Let's think, where do I want the people to kind of look at right away? And I think in the middle, because then that will lead the eye to everything. So let's put our sparkler right there in the middle. There. Okay. You can add a little bit of yellow to that. Just change up the value a bit. Bright red, bright orange. Let's add a little bit of yellow to that. Maybe, shoot, maybe over here, because then, ooh, look at that orange. And the reason why I placed it there was it's gonna stand out against that green. And with it standing out against that green, ooh, okay, maybe we go a different round, just change the tones. Okay, maybe let's get a bright yellow one. One that just excites. Bright colors. Let's go into a little bit of sap green. And maybe just a little bit more muddy right there. Now, let's go ahead, let's add in a little bit of land. That doesn't look like grass, so let's fix that up. Or you know what? It's that my brush is polluted and just making my life harder. Let's restart. Let's go in with my 2-inch that has green. And shoot. There. Okay. So now, let's go ahead. Let's have fun. We have all the time in the world, even though the video should be ending. Let's have something along these lines. And maybe you're probably asking yourself, what is he doing this time? We're gonna do a big tree. Shoo. There. Something like so. Let's go ahead and let's block in our land. There. And we'll add a little bit of white since it's basically like a brown color right there. So it benefits us. There. Let's add a little bit of shadows to that. There. Now, let's add in a little bit of grass in there. A few little reflections. There we are. A little bit of dark color mixed with some cadmium yellow. And let's just add in a few little highlights. Just by using the corner of a chiseled brush. And you can change the way things look in here. Let's go ahead, let's add in a little bit of dark color. This one needs a little dirt to hold it up. And we'll add a little bit of water lines. And we'll call it a day. There we are. And I think with that, that concludes today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Try this painting out. If you do, send me a photo. I would love to see what you create. I'd like to wish each and every one of you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care, my friends. Goodbye.